I have already started the course. Hello, where did it go? And yours? Awesome. I'm pretty sure everything's working. No, I don't know. And then so for the certain things, I don't think we can do it. So when we get started, we should we got it's still like flying. Is that there? Where is it? No, congratulations, by the way. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Okay. Did you have anything else or was it like really? We also did like yeah, and for just I mean, I know kind of technically, but very like good. A lot of yeah, well, definitely, you know, not staying. No, that's okay. We were thinking of it. So. I think that we're starting to work. We'll get there. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And then the pictures were, yeah. You want to move here? So that should be about the how. I feel like yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, I got it. I got it. They're very, but then I thought maybe her. So, yeah, sorry, like, so I. Yeah, But their wisdom is about, I think, extra.
Yeah.
Saturday or Sunday. Was it? I mean, yeah, you're fine.
Far out there.
All right, I'm gonna put this back. Right, like that, I feel like it's you craft. That you are
We love that. We'll be looking at. Please do. Oh.
Good. Over here.
No, I wasn't here to change things up. Appreciate it. It'll be interesting. We're going to get better conversation. Yeah.
Never did it when they were right. Last 4 years. And the problem is
Yeah, that's up for, over here.
Joe, what were your They're not in area.
I figured you had something more.
That's the view.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, my character is not very like. I get a lot of. I do a journey. So you guys took up that presentation, but you have the US key drive. I'm gonna have to do me, and then if you guys can make me presenter, that'll be the easiest way to do it. One of them do it. I promise you, I'll get it. So, no worries. We're kind of flip-flopping things around tonight anyway, so it's no big deal. Speaking with Brandon might be a good idea. Brandon, you have control of the meeting, right? It's out here.
Yes.
Because I'll just join the Zoom, and that way I can become full. It'll be a lot easier.
The problem.
Because going through thousands of pictures, I was like, oh man, I can't do this. So I have a little different style. When you text situations, I just gotta get the light.
Yeah.
We're gonna start in 30 seconds.
Definitely. Yeah.
Oh, I learned a lot of it. And everyone.
Love doing that. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to my second to last meeting as president of your club. It's an honor this year. Thank you so much. We have a very big evening planned for you, and we're gonna flip-flop some stuff around. But we welcome again to Rotary After Hours, Channel 19. So thank you for joining us. Feel free to get up during the presentation, get more food. This meeting is being recorded over Zoom, just so you are aware. And here comes Larry. All right. I invite you to rise as you are able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. For those who are making any announcements or presentations, please make sure you make your way to the front. and near the owl, so people online can see and hear you. Do we have any visitors this evening? You are no longer a visitor. But thank you for joining us. Anybody online?
We've got Larry
Larry
and Sammy.
and Sammy, welcome, guys. Good to have you. 3 questions for this evening for trivia. We got some good ones. In what country did the first Starbucks open outside of North America? And second, where were the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and Bill of Rights stored during World War II? Figured this might be the easiest question. And then third, who was the first ever televised president? So there you have it. So please no phones. And then we have an award at the end of bragging rights. And new birthdays this month. Happy birthday to Stephanie Doyle. Happy birthday last week. Jabron, June 4th. Yeah. Brianna was June 6th. And then Emily Nolte, June 10th. I think that was yesterday. Yep. And then Dustin, a couple weeks from now. Congratulations. We have a lot of anniversaries for this month. Jennifer, 4 years. Griffin, 3 years. Oh, myself, 3 years. Bradley, 3 years. Neil, 3 years. That was a good class. Ben Hansen, 1 year. Megan Haffer, 1 year. And Jenny, 1 year. Congratulations to all of you for this month. Good to have y'all. There are no committee meetings that I'm aware of this evening, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. Just enjoy yourselves. Sign up on our club website to participate in Riverfest fencing. We have a good number of people. We can always use more. It is a lot of work, but a lot of fun work, and we get done just as fast if we have more people. And we are getting a lot more money this year as a donation for all the work we do. So please come and join us and have a good time. It's a lot of work in the sun, but there's also a lot of laughter. And then mark your calendar for 2 weeks from now. Rock the Rotary Year party at Top Shots following our meeting. So please come, one and all. We have a kind of a combination service event of new members grant from 2 years ago or last year. Last year? Okay. So it was last year, and then also from Beer Bike Brigade Bingo. So we have $1,000 to go shopping. And we were gonna go to Sam's Club and buy a lot of non-perishable items, and I got an even more list, larger list from them from our meeting this afternoon. And we are going to go back to Trinity and sort it out and deliver it all to New Horizons to help feed the children and ladies that are escaping abuse. So please feel free to sign up for that event as well. That should be a lot of fun. Who doesn't like to go shopping? Then we have Take Us Out to the Ball Game, Loggers, July 18th, 5:30 to 10. If you're interested, please sign up. There's 2 links, I believe, right, Steph? Yes. To sign, one for adults and one for children. And then Avenues of Service, Wednesday, August 21st is an incredible event to come and enjoy the evening with all the other Rotary clubs and recognize a lot of great people and all the great work that has happened throughout the area. You can sign up with a link off of our website, I believe, right? And Facebook. So you can check that out. Please, it'll be great to fill an entire table with so many awesome people. Thanks to all those that were able to make it to the annual highway cleanup. We will have 2 more events between now and the end of the fall. Looked like it was a lot of fun. You see all the laughter and smiles on those beautiful faces. Elections. Steph, nice shirt.
This is my shirt from the Philippines. They wear vibrant outfits there. Really vibrant. Okay, this is the last time you'll hear from me about raw elections, so here we go. First, I just want to thank you all who did our survey for this and the Avenues of Service nominations. We'll be compiling those. so now I'm gonna introduce the 2024-2025 board of directors. When you see your picture and I call your name, you come up here and then we'll try to take a group photo. So first,
Who's that?
past President Phil, so thank him for continuing on board. Director 3-year Lisa. Director 1-year Nathan. Director 1-year Danny. And if you did have good Facebook profile pictures, I picked some for you, so. I think that's from like a while ago too. Secretary Alicia, is that it right? Secretary-elect Joe. Sergeant at Arms Sammy, who is online, so. Treasurer Lori. Treasurer-elect Brad. President-elect Neil. And me, president next year. So this will be our new board that starts July 1st. That's gonna be really exciting. I figured that every single one of us have an I in our name except for Brad and Joe, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, we're meant to be. And then also, I just want to have the following come up here: Ashley, Alyssa, and Jabron for leaving the board, and we appreciate all your help. So finally, this will be the new theme, the magic of Rotary. It starts July 1st, and this will be our new board. So if you take a picture, and then I'll be done with elections.
Scrunch
You're gonna have to
together, guys.
scrunch.
You want off second row?
Yeah, maybe on the stage, like.
Yield down. Okay.
I don't know.
There we go.
Helen. Everyone showed up tonight. That's so great.
Thanks for ready. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thank you.
The commander in chief.
It's. There you
You can unmake me up. Hold those.
We're switching up over there. Perfect. Yeah.
All right. We're gonna switch things up a little bit from what we originally planned because we have a guest and somebody who has to get somewhere. So we're gonna continue with the Paul Harris Fellowship Award, which is a very important award that I am learning a lot about right now. So here is Master Dean.
Well, this is a very, this is one of the best nights, that our club we can have. It's when we recognize people who've been so generous in their support of the Rotary International Foundation. The obvious question, and we really need to ask ourselves, is what would Rotary be like if we didn't have our foundation? Because it's our Rotary Foundation that gives us outreach and helps us to complete our mission of serving people around the world, making the world a better place. So, next. Okay, the mission of the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International is to enable Rotarians to advance international understanding, goodwill, and peace through the improvement of health, the support of education, and the alleviation of poverty. And so when we make contributions to the Rotary International Foundation, we're creating a pool of funding that will allow us to do all kinds of things. Some people look at me and say, gee, Dean, you've done a lot in Rotary, but I've got to tell you, Rotary has done a lot for me. Rotary gave me the opportunity to travel to Africa to do polio immunizations, to India to do polio immunization, to go down to Bolivia and get involved in a women's cooperative down there, women that were supporting their children all by themselves. And we were able to fund that. So it's just, Rotary's been a lot more for me than I've been able to do for Rotary. But anyway, that's the mission of the Rotary Foundation. In 1990, Rotary took on the signature project, which is the alleviation and the eradication of polio. It registers with me because back in the 1950s, polio swept across the United States and 20-some thousand people, mostly children, contracted polio. Half of them ended up with paralysis, and about 3,000 of us died. And I was a rambunctious kid about that time. And my parents, in order to maybe keep me from getting polio here in the city, sent me to the farm. I thought they were trying to teach me how to work because I was driving the tractor when I was 10 years old. But the fact of the matter is, they were just getting me out of town and getting me away from any opportunity to contract polio. Now you look at the picture of that little kid, and that could be my hand or the hand of anyone, of any number of people that have placed 2 or 3 drops of that polio vaccine on the mouth of a child. And at that point in time, it's transformative for that child because we know that you've changed his life or her life. But let me tell you, it changes our life too. It's just the most incredible, it's the most incredible feeling. And when I was in India, I remember seeing kids that were maybe 12, 14 years old, bringing their little brothers and sisters so that we give them the polio vaccine. Well, there's any number of things that we can do with a contribution. And you can probably see it better than I can. I had cataract surgery this morning, so I'm operating on one eye. I thought I was gonna walk in the park, and it's been a whole lot more than that. But you can see on the screen there, any number of things that can be funded just with very little contribution. What we try to achieve is a sustaining membership for all of our members, which means that we would contribute $100 a year. That's like $2 a week. I mean, that's like, I don't buy anything at Starbucks, but I've heard Starbucks is a lot more expensive than $2. So there you go. So at any rate, tonight we're going to celebrate some people that have been very generous in their support of the foundation. At this point, I think my daughter hasn't talked to me yet. She said her hands around you, that should cue to get off the big. So anyway, where's the here you go.
Everybody knows my dad. I gave him a couple of pep talks on behalf of all of us. So I had the pleasure of reaching out to many of you, and if you responded or you were one of the ones that sent me a response back, thank you for doing that, for taking the time for your fellow Rotarians and friends for their award recognition tonight. The responses I got were incredible. I can't go through all of them tonight, or we'll be here all night. So I just picked some highlights, talking about each of these people. The first one is Ben Addington. Ben is not here tonight unless he snuck in. But Ben is receiving his Paul Harris Fellow. This is, members said Ben was part of the team that created the brand of We Rotary Hard. Some of you might have the shirts that say We Rotary Hard on the back. And that became a launch pad for promoting our club and our members. His friendly personality is always appreciated when he's able to attend meetings or events. So Ben will be receiving his Paul Harris Fellow the next time we see him. The next is our very own Caitlin Doyle. She is also receiving her Paul Harris Fellow. Caitlin has a positive attitude in all she does and is a service leader in the community and workplace as well. She is exceptionally well liked and respected in all aspects of her life, including by colleagues, clients, friends, and fellow organizations and board members. Caitlin is always willing to make time for people, whether a friend or a stranger. Caitlin's getting her Paul Harris Fellow. Emily is traveling right now, I think with her nephew, probably a birthday trip. Emily is also receiving her Paul Harris Fellow. And members in the club commented that Emily has served as a RA liaison for our Rotary Leadership Series. She has helped with a series of Ugly Sweater 5Ks for numerous years and is always fun to be around. Our next is our president, Phil Wozniak. Phil, if you please come forward. And if you'll all stay up here, we'll take a picture at the end. So many comments about Phil that it was really hard to synthesize. One member said, I could go on and on about Phil's dedication and service. Even before his presidency year, which he stepped up for a year early, he's always at the front of the charge, whatever the event is, adding his positivity and unflagging energy. Phil has truly been a valuable addition to our club. His dedication extends to checking in on our members regularly, ensuring everyone's well-being. I know how busy he is with his parish and volunteer duties, so I do ask myself, if Bill can find the time, then maybe I can dig a little deeper too. He is an inspiring Rotarian. Bill, thank you so much for your contributions to the foundation. And as a Paul Harris Fellow, you'll be receiving your certificate and your official Paul Harris pin. Our next, what's that? We'll do it at the very end, everybody's together. Our next, which I'm so excited he was able to join us. Another one where the comments that came in, I was like, I don't know, how do I pick from these? Is Dustin Lukey. And we don't always get to see Dustin because he's usually on the news at this time, so it's extra special to have him with us tonight. Dustin is receiving his Paul Harris Fellow. He's also a benefactor to the Rotary Foundation, meaning he's put the Rotary Foundation into his estate planning. But many of the comments, I'll try to summarize from your friends in Rotary here. Dustin Lukey is the embodiment of the four-way test. He is tough enough to roll up his sleeves and chop down some buckthorn. Yet he is also a refined gentleman with style and wit. By acting and communicating with warmth and purpose, he benefits our community by promoting truth, fairness, and goodwill. Dustin will help you. I'm grateful he continues to engage with the club and share his talents and treasure. They are priceless to Rotary After Hours. When you add this awesome Rotarian's generosity and kindness into the mix, you've got high marks in the all-around category. We can all be proud to call Dustin our Rotary friend. Dustin, thank you so much. Your Paul Harris Fellow +1 pin. All right, Steph Klein, come on up. Steph Klein is receiving for Paul Harris Fellow +2. So many comments. Again, this is a really hard job. Steph is a dedicated Rotarian who contributes greatly to our club. I'll let you guess who made this next comment. She is a true and pure yes person who sees needs and steps up to get things done. Her yes most often happens without checking her calendar or seeing what is on TV that night, or any of the other excuses most of us make. She is passionate about the events that she is involved in and is 1000% invested in anything she commits to, having planned social events for the club for going on 10 years. She is gearing up for a fantastic year as president. I'm grateful for her service and her impact to ROC. Steph, thank you for your contributions. And here is your Paul Harris Fellow +2 to go on your bright and vibrant shirt. Yeah. All right, our next one is Johnny Brevick, and Johnny is not here, but I can see. Johnny is a silent warrior for After Hours. He has been a leader in RA from the time that our club started and helped build the foundation upon which we sit. He is someone who is willing to help others succeed and is an all-around great person and friend. Although he might not always be at club meetings, he is always a RA cheerleader at heart with his help behind the scenes. We are who we are today, largely due to Johnny's dedication and leadership. So Johnny will be receiving his Paul Harris Fellow +3. And Mr. Suit, come on up. Brandon is receiving his Paul Harris Fellow +4. One Rotary friend said, I'm going to quote Paul Harris because it is a statement reflective of Brandon Harris. That quote is, if you have love for your fellow man in your hearts, my friends, you are a potential Rotarian. He is the definition of a true Rotarian. He selflessly donates his time, energy, skills, and money for others and our community. If someone is needed, you can always count on him. He is an integral member of Rotary After Hours, providing hopeful and innovative ideas to serve our community and improve our club. Rotary After Hours is fortunate to have a leader and member like him. I am lucky and proud to call him my friend and fellow Rotarian. Brandon, thank you so much. You will be getting your Paul Harris Fellow +4. And last but not least is Laura Lee. I have to stand next to Brandon. It'll be funny. To go up on the stage. Yeah. Laura is receiving her Paul Harris Fellow +7. Laura is a true example of someone who lives service above self and is someone that brings fun and meaning to all things Rotary. She is one of the most committed, energetic, and giving Rotarians I know, always willing to help, even with life happening all around her. She has been a significant contributor to the success of ROD, someone who is always seeing the best in things with whatever situation it may be. I love Laura because she is always positive, has a can-do attitude, and sprinkles fun into all interactions. One of the many blessings of being a Rotarian is having a friend named Laura Lee. Laura, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes everybody that is being recognized tonight for Paul Harris Fellows and subsequent Paul Harris Fellows. Thank you. It was, reading these just made me feel humbled to know each and every one of you. And from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of the foundation committee and everything that we're able to do through the impact through the foundation, thank you. If we could get one picture of all of you, I'll move out of the way and I'll take your picture. I'll send it later. Okay. I don't know where my camera is, but. Oh, yeah. There.
Put Brandon at the end.
Should I stand?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Let's try to get.
Here, it looked like, do you want us to shift?
Well, I'm gonna try to get it so that. Oops. Technology. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much.
Awesome. You can go fast. There he is. And now presenting about his French, what do you call friendship exchange, right? Where is Nathan? Oh, there you are, always in the back. Come over here. Come on up, it's your turn. And let us welcome Nathan.
You guys hear me? Okay, perfect. All right, so, yeah, I'm gonna try to make this, pretty quick, and informal, and just, ask questions if you have questions. So I don't know, how many people know, like, what a friendship rotary mini, or friendship exchange, let's start with that, is, you're familiar with that? So that's a longer, exchange where you're over, I think, in the, visiting country for a week. maybe, and then you reciprocate, and the people that host you come back and you host them here. So it's like a full exchange. This was not that. This was just a mini friendship exchange, which really calling it an exchange wasn't even really 100% accurate because it was one-sided. So it was, I got all the benefits, but didn't have to really reciprocate. So it was nice. It was super short. It was only, so it fit into my schedule nice. It was just a 3-day little trip to the Netherlands, and yeah, it was perfect. So just gonna kind of go through and narrate some pictures for you. And I have a few like quiz questions for you too, so maybe we'll see how good you know the Netherlands. So starting off, yeah, the Netherlands. So when I found out about this trip, it was interesting because I remember in the 6th grade doing a report on the Netherlands. And so it was like a full circle thing. I remember in the 6th grade having this presentation. I showed up in my wooden shoes. I think I don't even remember where I got these wooden shoes from, but I had little wooden shoes as a 6th grader, and I showed up to my 6th grade class. And I talked about windmills, and I talked about tulips, and then it came full circle, and that's, you know, what this trip was largely about. So so that was kind of okay. So flew over, arrived in Amsterdam at about 7 p.m. I was pretty tired. I hadn't flown internationally and flown that distance in a while, so I was kind of shocked. So I was ready pretty much to turn in to bed that first day. But I did take time to hit up one of the local restaurants. As you can see, very local cuisine there that I got on my first day, hamburger and fries, which oddly enough, apparently, the Dutch are really into their French fries. I don't know who knew that, but they're really into their French fries, apparently, especially in Amsterdam. And I didn't know this after the fact. I looked this up, but I was like, these French fries are a little different. There's something different about these French fries. And it turns out, I think they double fry them. Yeah, they double fry their French fries. And so it was really interesting, but really good, really tasty. And that first night I actually decided to, because I was only going to be there in Amsterdam for just like, really just, I got there at 7 p.m. and I was leaving the next day to go meet my host family, which was in a different part of the Netherlands. I knew it was going to be a very short period that I was actually there. So I actually was brave, and I got a room in a youth hostel, believe it or not. And so I actually crashed in a hostel that first night. So and made it out. The snoring was tolerable. That's always the hardest part. So the next day, so left Amsterdam, went to my exchange location was in a little town called Warfum, which is in the northern part of the Netherlands. So up in the northern part of the Netherlands, and that's where we headed. And it was on a train ride. It was probably like an hour-and-a-half train ride from Amsterdam to Warfum. And that's Central Station there on the left. As you can see, I'm sporting my raw hat. So all these pictures will have me in my raw hat in there. And you can blame some of the people in my life previous. I'm in a lot of these pictures. Used to, I never was in pictures. I never wanted to put myself in pictures. But now it's like, well, you know, you're there, you can find these pictures online, you gotta put yourself in the picture, right? So now I'm in a lot of these pictures, so I have to deal with that. So, so it was kind of neat. We got to Warfum, so this is interesting. I think this is where, yes, you can't really see it, but that middle picture there, you can see in the distance, that's the train station, and that's my host family. So like in the back, right there in the back corner of that middle picture, you can see the blue like awnings. That's the train station that we like got to in Warfum. And that literally is my host family there. So like it was literally probably like a 20 meter walk from the train station to my host family. So that was pretty interesting. And they had the flag with the United States, you know, the American flag there, of course. And then in that third picture there, you can see they're already getting ready for King's Day. So King's Day is a national holiday in the Netherlands, and you can see that they're setting up the streets for King's Day with the orange balloons there. So that one. Okay, so the next day, we went to, well, actually, no, this was the same day, actually. This was the same day that evening. We went to a little museum, in Warfunk. And it was the kind of museum where they have like I don't know if you've seen these museums before, but it was a little museum where they have buildings transplanted from like the 1800s and they all bring them together. And it's like a little like how life was back in the 1800s. And so they have like displays and little buildings and little things you can go in and explore. And I don't know if you can read this or not, but they had this coat hanger here in one of the buildings. And it says, in 2012, this coat hanger was found in a hotel in Auschwitz, basically. So this was a coat hanger that was found in Auschwitz in the year 2012. They returned it to Warfunk, but since all the real certainty can no longer be obtained, it's very likely that the coat hanger ended up in Auschwitz with one of the deported families from Warfunk. So there were a lot of families from this village that ended up going to Auschwitz, and I didn't really realize, I guess, at the time, that wasn't part of what I was thinking when I went on this trip, that there would be such a connection to the Holocaust, but there was a big connection to the Holocaust. Okay, so just some more buildings there from that museum. So the next day, the main day was day 3 of the exchange itself, and this was King's Day. So King's Day, I want to read you a little bit about King's Day. So I printed this out to tell you about what King's Day is. So King's Day in the Netherlands is a significant national holiday commemorating the birthday of King Willem Alexander. So what's interesting is it wasn't always called King's Day. So the origins of King's Day date back to 1885, when it was first celebrated as Princess's Day in honor of then Princess Wilhelmina. The holiday evolved into Queen's Day when Wilhelmina became queen. And then there were several queens in a row after her. But then in 2013, following the abdication of the queen and the ascension of King Willem Alexander, they changed it from Queen's Day to King's Day. So it was Princess's Day, and then it was Queen's Day, and then recently it's become King's Day. And so King's Day is now on April 30th, which is the current king's birthday. So, King's Day, so the biggest thing that we did when I was there is we went to this charity. It was like a charity, kind of like, here we have charity 5K. So our event is a charity 5K. But this was a charity walk combined with a bicycle ride combined with a run. And it was this big event that they put on, and it was called To the Tulips, To the Tulips. And that was the main thing that we kind of did when we were there. And I think we walked I think originally it was supposed to be a 10K walk, but we ended up taking some detours. And so it ended up being closer to probably 8 miles that day that we walked. And the idea was that we were going to walk to the tulip fields. Now, here's the fun part. The tulip fields were not really, they were supposed to be in bloom, but because of the way that the weather worked out, they had bloomed much earlier. And so many of the tulip fields were actually cut, and they weren't actually there for us to see. So it didn't work out the way we planned, but it was okay. Because we ended up the next day finding some tulip fields on our own and finding some tulip fields, but the tulip fields that were part of the actual event were kind of a bust, which is okay. One interesting thing about it is the tulip fields, the tulips that are in the fields, they're never like truly harvested. The blooms are usually cut, and there's a process for that called deadheading. When they cut the blooms, and then they just let the blooms fall over next to the flowers. And then what happens is they do that so that the energy of the plant can go to the bulb and not the flower itself. And so it like nourishes the bulb itself. And then the bulb is what's valuable. So they'll use the bulb, dig up the bulb, and sell the bulb or replant the bulb, or the bulb is what's up. So they cut the flowers themselves, and just leave them there to fertilize the ground after they cut the bulbs off. So most of the bulbs had already been cut. So yeah, I have some pictures of that I can show you. go into too much time, but here's some of the scenery you can see. That's just one of the, canals. I mean, there are canals everywhere, all over, obviously, and that's just one of the canals. That picture on the right, you can see right there, bikes are a huge thing in Amsterdam. Like bikes are everywhere. In the Netherlands even, not just in Amsterdam, but in the Netherlands in general. The amount of bike paths and trails and infrastructure is something that was just awe-inspiring, honestly. But you can see on the right there, that track on the little footbridge, that little track on the bridge, that's to roll your bike up and take it down, and so you don't have to actually pick your bike up. So that's just kind of an idea of how much, you know, they emphasize the bike infrastructure on there. Not only are there paths and, you know, trails everywhere, but even on the footbridges, they have these little tracks that you can push your bike over. So it's pretty amazing. So there's on the left, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. There are some balloons still, but for the most part, like they've fallen over. You can see how there's just balloons in the middle of the rows like that. They just cut them and toss them over there to kind of, you know, because again, that's not really the point. The point is the bulb in the ground. So they just cut the flowers and then the flowers fall over. And then on the right, they do have some bulbs at the beginning of the race and the end for people to purchase. But not a lot of us did that because of the custom stuff. So you could order the bulbs and they could send them to you if you want, but we didn't do any of that because we didn't buy them there, but it's like I said, the customs issue. On the left, you'll see like a church that was, I had a video of this, but I didn't post it because I was afraid it wouldn't work with the technical issues, but there was a church on the left there and they were playing the Star Spangled Banner on the pipe organ. When we went into that church, it was part of the walk that we did and they knew we were coming. There was a group of, you know, Americans on the walk. And so when we went into this church, there was a pipe organ playing for us, the Star Spangled Banner. So that was kind of nice. On the right there, you see just like a recreation. We stumbled onto that as a recreation of like a historical, you know, event. Not sure even exactly, because we just caught the middle of it, but it was neat to see all the traditional garb that we just happened to stumble upon. Yeah. And then here at the end, we had like a really nice dinner. At the end, after our walk, we came back and there was a dinner prepared for us, really nice. Food, some traditional fare that we had to eat. And then on the right there, I tried to actually find this alcohol. I was going to buy this and make everybody take a shot of this orange liqueur, but I could not find it. Apparently, it's very hard to find this particular orange liqueur. You can find orange schnapps or something, but this is a little different. And so it's kind of hard to find, but it's orange, bitter. It's not really schnapps, but it tastes kind of like schnapps. But it was super good, but I couldn't, unfortunately. On the fourth day, we just kind of like explored the countryside. This is some other pictures on the left there. You can kind of see in the countryside, they have these little tiny, just, I guess like almost like little tiny houses that people can actually rent for like a week or something. And they're kind of all over the countryside, these little tiny houses that people can rent just in the middle of the country. And I thought that was just kind of neat. And then on the right, you'll see one of the, well, there's two pictures there. This is like in the very north, like up near the ocean there, or sea, not sure if it's ocean or sea, the very north border of, you know, where the end of the Netherlands runs out. And on the left there, you kind of see there, there's a sport in the Netherlands. This was kind of interesting. It's not really a sport, but it's something that kids do, and like some people do this for fun. They'll trudge through the mud and the muck, and it's like something that they do just for fun. They put on these big galoshes and they walk through this muddy mess, and they walk way out there and like then come back. Yeah. Well, they put on these big like waiter things, but I don't know. Yeah, it's really interesting though. We saw a few people doing that, and it was just, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know. Would I do it? Probably not. So, now here's some pictures of the windmills. There were still a lot of windmills functioning. But they're not all, a lot of them are shut down, but they still do have a few windmills, obviously more that are not functioning than are, but there are a few that still serve their original purpose, which was to kind of dredge the water, right? Move the water out and, keep the area dry, because a lot of the land is below sea level. And so they reclaim the land in kind of stages. And, they push the land back a little at a time to reclaim the land, and there's still some of this that's like, being used. It's very good, farmland. This is some of the best farmland in the world, really, because it's so fertile, because of the water and the way that it was reclaimed, and it's just very, very, healthy land. So this land is like super expensive out there. The people who live out there and farm, some of the best farmland, but it's really expensive and it stays in families forever. And here's some of the actual tools that we stumbled upon. So they were pretty when we found them. But so that was it for the official exchange. Then I went back to Amsterdam. I thought I was going to get to Brussels and Paris, but that was a pipe dream. No way was I going to go to Amsterdam and Brussels and Paris in a week. That was me just being, overly ambitious. So just a few pictures. There's some bites. Look how many bites there are. Lots of bites. I got some yummy Mexican food. That might have been the best Mexican meal I've ever had. You don't think about Amsterdam being this Mexican food, oasis, but it is apparently. Yeah, just some other pictures. I won't take too much time. This is on the left here. That's actually the red light district on the left there. Okay. Red light district on the left. I will say that I had to take this picture kind of just sneaking by and looking down and snapping it really quickly, because there is a very tight restriction. Apparently I learned on the red light district, you can't take pictures, like, because of the privacy concerns, right? If you get caught taking a picture, they will take your phone or camera and throw it into the, it's a serious thing. Yeah, so I just quickly snapped a picture, and then you can kind of get the idea of what it looks like. Museum, the Rijks Museum, that's my favorite piece of art from growing up. Anybody know the name of that piece of art? Guess who painted it? Anybody? Who's a famous Dutch artist? Rembrandt. Yeah, that's a Rembrandt piece. My grandma had that piece hanging up when I was a kid, and so I got to see that in real life. It's a huge piece. It's a humongous piece. There's other pictures. I went to Keukenhof. Keukenhof, if you've never been to the Netherlands, is a huge flower garden, but you can kind of get the idea of Keukenhof. And there's some cheese, and actually saw some of those shoes being made. So I actually went to a shoe factory where they were making the wooden shoes. Got to see that. So there you go. Yeah. So that's a quick run through of my trip. Yeah, I would say that if you've never gotten to travel overseas, Rotary is an excellent way to do it. Like, if you've never been overseas, if you've never done a lot of traveling, especially overseas though, Rotary is a perfect way to be able to do that. Thank you. Thanks.
And now we have Jeremy. Are we able to share the screen? Yeah. You have to share it. So there. Drop the fire. Yep. There you go. Awesome.
All right, so I figured I would start, I'm gonna try to do my best. Mine was not a mini exchange, mine was definitely a long exchange. And so we were there in Brazil for 2 weeks, my wife and I. A little bit of background, so I've been in Rotary for a long time, you just never see me. So, yeah, I'm Jeremy. And we get on these newsletters, and I got a district newsletter that talked about the Rotary Friendship Exchange, and I was literally laying in bed, and I looked over at my wife and like, hey, wanna go to Brazil? She's like, yeah, like, I think we gotta apply or something, so I guess I'll apply. So I applied, and they do favor first time exchangers. So if you want to go, like, you've never gone, you can go. And it's super cheap. And it's the best travel experience I've ever had in my life. I love traveling, been international, but we knew nothing about Brazil. So I didn't look up like where I was going or anything. It was like literally the most impulsive decision to make. And then we almost backed out of it because they changed the dates and it was gonna work for us. And I was kind of like, oh yes, I'm not gonna have to go. And they're like, nope, we're going. I'm like, okay, we gotta figure this out. So it was awesome. I just kind of did it day by day, but again, I want to do an overview of where we started. So lacrosse, we drove to Madison, our first adventure. So we left on April 1st. Our adventure started driving to Madison. We got to the airport literally the moment we pulled up to start unloading our bags. I got the notification for United that my flight was delayed from Madison to Chicago. And we were gonna miss our main flight from Chicago to Brazil. So I was like, I was pretty calm. Because again, I'm going on vacation, right? So I was like, whatever. So the lady was super anxious and I'm just like, let's just solve this. What can we do? So we rented a car, drove to Chicago. We were there plenty of time. We got on our flight, 10-hour flight to Brazil overnight, and we arrived in Sao Paulo. So just so everybody knows, so lacrosse, Madison, Chicago, and then we fly to the Southern Hemisphere, which I had never been, to Sao Paulo. And I literally was there for just a couple hours. We had a little bit of a layover, and then we had a domestic flight from Sao Paulo over to Foz do Iguazu is how it's pronounced. So it's right on the border. You can kind of tell. So Brazil is a pretty large country. It's on the border of Paraguay, Argentina, and Brazil. So we got to Foz do Iguazu. I'm just going to go through this really quick. I'll hit where we actually went. We went to Cascavel, which is another city. We'll talk about that. We went to Toledo. Bragani is where my host family has a country home, so we went there. And then we went to this dam. This is actually going to be part of my, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that. So that's just an overview on the globe. I wanted to show you where the heck were we? So that was fun. So you guys, thousands of pictures. I truly couldn't figure out like how to do a presentation. So I'm sorry, Phil. Like literally it's like, how do I put 2 weeks into a presentation? So I just went to my Amazon photos. I'm just gonna let this run. Hopefully it'll go, start going. But all right, so we arrived in Brazil from Chicago, got to Sao Paulo, seriously. Took that domestic flight. I might just scroll for you guys because it might be easier.
Want me to scroll for you?
Sure, if you, well, it should be, okay, they're pretty big, so, here we go. Yeah, if you just want to scroll down. So this is us just leaving, we arrived, should be able to scroll down. So this was the funnest thing, man. I've never been welcomed at an airport. This was so cool. Like just getting welcomed in by the airport was like that. I mean, again, you arrive at cool places, but that is fun. I mean, you're immediately a friend to people you've never met. We did a little WhatsApp chatting beforehand, but I mean, that was cool. So we were greeted by our host, Paulo. He's in the pool picture right there on the right-hand side. So he greeted us. That's his house that he welcomed us to, up in the upper right there, just a little bit. He had an awesome pool. I will tell you, I talked to our host guy. Did you travel with Mark Etram?
I know he was mine.
Okay, so our host, or like our coordinator for our exchange, he's been on tons of these. He's like, you will get everything from 5-star to -2 stars, depending on where you stay. We fortunately had 5-star amenities. I mean, Paulo was great. He's a business owner, had a cool pool, he invited me in, gave me a beer and said, go cool off and just relax after, 15 hours of travel. So that was great. That night we went to a local club. I've got their exchange flag. So we just did that. That was really fun. We keep on going down. The next morning, we went to Apollo's business. So he owns that printing business. It's kind of like if you think about Auto Spring Clean and Auto Spring Films up in Holman, very similar to that. So they do a lot of printing, vinyls, stuff like that. So on the right there, Paulo is just showing off his stuff. He's got some cool printing. So we in Foz do Iguazu, it was very recreational, I'll say, of the trip. The other part of my trip in exchange is a little different. So Paulo showed us the business. We went to this next, going down, the little Macucu. So this is on the Iguazu River. And so we took a little trip through the forest and then we got down to this boat. If you're not, I think I posted all these public on my Facebook. So if you do, I've got videos, I can put them on here. But we went on this boat and there's just nothing that I can put to justice to this waterfall. I mean, I've been in Niagara, like this thing is huge and it's intense. But that little boat that they took us on, so scroll down a little bit, we were in the falls, like literally it pulls in and I'm adventurous, so I sat in the very, very front. The falls were, I was like in a shower of a waterfall, like it was insane. So that was really fun. We went to a lunch at the top of the falls, got to oversee it. Again, you kind of walk in, this picture on the lower left right there, I mean, you get a little dicey when you're like high and you're like, the cement's here and it's down. I mean, it was pretty intensive, like little spot. We went to one of the gals that's gonna be coming back here. Her name's Delzira. So what, Marissa's got covered over there. She's got a pizzeria. If you scroll just a little bit down, called Imperio. She was awesome. She just gave us any pizza that they had. I mean, the cooks in the back were just like, oh, here's a sausage one, here's a veggie margarita one, like, just like keeps on coming. So awesome. So she was a great, great place. All right. Then we went to this place called Itaipu by Nacional. So this is very fascinating. Brazil and Paraguay did this project as many $100 million in US dollars. This dam is damn impressive. Like, again, we had just gone to Hoover in August of last year. I mean, Hoover's big. This is like on a whole different scale, hydroelectric dam. We got to go all through it. That picture on the right-hand side there looking down. Again, you don't have to be afraid of heights, but you will look down and you're like, ooh, like that is, it looks like you're just going into hell. Like it's deep, like you're really far. And then if you keep going, again, that's just kind of an overview. I thought it looked like an amazing, you can't really see it. There's like a spillway. And it's like, man, that'd be an awesome tubing run, like totally cool. It wasn't open, so the water wasn't running over it at the time, but again, just really impressive. You can see it in that middle picture, those three little luges on the left side is the spillway of the dam. And again, that picture with the red, it's like multiple football fields long. And it felt like Austin Powers, you know, where he gets caught in that little golfer thing, like it just totally reminded me of that type of industrial type of place. We went to you want to eat, go to another country that wants to show you their food. I don't think we could have gone hungry if we wanted to. Like every place we went to was buffet, meat, carnivore diet for sure in Brazil. That was amazing. So yeah, that was really fun. And then we started doing something. Well, we did this Buddhist temple. That was just kind of like an aside. Hey, we're gonna drive by. There's a bunch of Buddhist temples, so it was fine. It's cool. These pictures, we went to one of the first Rotary projects. This was really emotional for Megan. So my wife, Megan, isn't a Rotarian. She's just been coming along for the ride for a lot of years. So this ACDD is a special school for disabled. So Rotary Club has projects there. This is definitely something we could partner with them. I mean, super impactful what they're doing to the community, for the community down there. She's got these glasses on that work as a mouse, which would be really cool right now. That picture of me standing next to that little child, he was playing the not matching, the bar game where you have to find the things missing or the differences. So I was watching him, it really did get boring because she's talking in Portuguese, I couldn't understand her. So I'm like, oh, what's going on? And then I saw this kid playing the game, so I like kind of just slowly walked up next to him, and I was just sitting next to him like, and we had so much fun just playing, like he was playing the game, and then so afterward we had fun. And then if you scroll down slowly, you'll see Megan, that guy that Megan is giving a hug to on the far left there. He was just a character. He was like, and again, he's disabled, but man, his personality was one in a million. Just amazing, amazing guy, great people. That night we went to this show. Some of these photos didn't show up in the perfect order, but the Fame, it was an international like dance show. We're at like 7, so I'm sorry, you guys. I'll just try to go as fast as I can. These are really fun. So again, international dance show. we did that, and then Friday, if you scroll down, this was pretty epic. I've never got to go in a helicopter, I don't think. I'm pretty certain this was the first time in my life, so we flew over the falls. So that was a very fun experience to get to go through. And then we ended up having, we went to this bird park, who my host, his wife, she works there, and it's just these wild birds, or not wild birds, they are wild, but in a park. Paula hosted us for a barbecue. If you scroll down a little bit, he's just, man, it was awesome. Then we went to another Rotary Park, got another Rotary flag. They do a tennis project where they helped create this whole like lessons and for kids in the community to do tennis. That was FOSDU Iguazu. 4 days, pretty darn fast. And then we made the road trip about 2 hours to Cascabel. So that little castle thing was just kind of a pit stop, and then we got to Cascabel. I mean, the stuff is cool, you guys, but I just have like, so this picture of the box was in our bedroom. So I gotta give you a little layout of the, so close your eyes, maybe imagine this. We walk into this apartment, so it's an apartment downtown Cascabel, and to the left is the kitchen, and a very small kitchen. So in American terms, like super small. This is a 2-bedroom, well, it's a 3-bedroom apartment, but kitchen to my left. I walk in, there's a dining room, there's a living room. The living room's no more than 2 table widths. So I mean, it's like 8 feet wide. There's 1 couch there, and there's a little balcony that's 2 feet out. Walk down the hall, there's a bathroom or a bedroom on the right. There's a bathroom on the left. There's another bathroom on the right. And there's bedroom on the right. There's 3 bedrooms. I walk in, and the mom and dad had picked us up at the pickup spot, brought us there. There's a 10-year-old daughter, a 21-year-old daughter, and then there's mom and dad. Well, you just figured out the map there. There's mom and dad, there's Jeremy and Megan, there's daughter 1, daughter 2. So there's 4 and 3 bedrooms. And we're like, they show us this bedroom. We're like, this is your room. We're like, where are you sleeping? So they literally gave us their bedroom, and they were gonna sleep in the couch on their pull-out couch so that we could stay there. Now, my family does have a country home, so it's kind of a fascinating story I can tell you later, but they just welcomed us into their own bedroom to like stay for, 4 or 5 days. Just incredible. We basically got there, unloaded, and then we went to a dinner, another barbecue, and that's my family, on the right, underneath the AI there. I mean, again, they just are so awesome. Turns out Celso is the dad. His birthday was the next day. I friended him on Facebook before I came, so I saw it on Facebook when I was checking it in the morning. I was just like, oh, it's his birthday. I go to his wife, I'm like, yeah, it's Celso's birthday. What are you guys doing for it? It's like, she's like, oh yeah, it's his birthday. Like she totally forgot about her husband's birthday. So this is so great. So we had some fun. We went to a country home. Again, just so fun. They hosted us, great barbecue. We caught these massive fish. I mean, they were just, no, they're like 3 inches. They're kind of funny. Got to ride a horse. Again, it was a wonderful time. Celebrated Celso's birthday that night. So they took us then to their country home. Their country home has many more bedrooms, or not many more. They've got like 4 or 5 bedrooms. So we got to stay there. So they have kind of an in-town. Annalise, she got recognized, so she took us to like a local awards banquet where we couldn't understand anything, and just like sat there and just ate food and just had fun, and that's their country home, the Blue. He owns a travel company, so like they're like our tour buses, like he does that, that's his business. He tours people to Paraguay and Argentina and throughout Brazil. Oh, man, this country, that day, they took us to like middle of nowhere, but that park pavilion on the left-hand side there, this couple hosted us, and keep going, the food was just, I mean, they slow cooked the barbecue, food was amazing. And funny story here is we're chatting with them, and I'm a pretty vocal person, so I'm talking to this young couple. They're like, I'm like, hey, when you got, how long you been dating, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so when you get married? And he's like, I don't know, kind of a typical dude thing. Well, his sister was the host, and so we're sitting there chatting. A little while later, the guy and the girlfriend are over here. The girl's sitting next to us. She's like, hey, by the way, they're going to Argentina in June. he's gonna propose there. Like totally just opens up the entire story, just like, oh, don't tell them that, then, I suppose. So they did actually just get engaged this week, so it's pretty cool. I follow them on, we're connected on Instagram. Game night, hanging out with the family, just again, very family oriented. Then we got into Rotary, guys, this is where it was a little hard. We had to go to a lot of projects. This day, we gave them feedback, like they hit every Rotary project in town, I think. So when they come here, we're gonna try to give them a little bit of recreation and projects, we got to go to a cancer hospital, a milk bank, like, for women and babies. That was, again, super cool. They're doing awesome stuff. They presented us with a bunch of jerseys, custom with our names on them, so that was really fun. It's now my pajama shirt, super comfortable. Again, then we went to another, think of, horse sense for special riders on steroids. Gotcha. So their facility was amazing, just a ton of stuff. This Apple Philabi is for cleft lip, another place where we can definitely, these projects would be ones that I would be like, yes, we should partner with them. They're doing amazing work. They hosted us for another dinner, amazing, at one of the other exchange families' house. And then as we were kind of wrapping up, we got to do a whole city tour. This is a crazy food cooperative. They send food everywhere. Their biggest export is to China, pork, poultry. We got to go in this freezer. We had to wear those awesome outfits, because it was like minus 30 degrees, Fahrenheit. We got to meet the mayor. That was fine. He just talked, and I asked him a question. I said, like, what's the biggest problem? And it was the most political answer ever. Like, I'm gonna talk a bunch of words and not even answer the question you asked. I'm like, well, that was pointless. So typical politician in Brazil too. We got to see our host daughter's school, that's Marisa, and then she also owns an English school, so that's her school. This is super fascinating. Biopark, for anybody that's in medicine, internet, like they're like creating a town within their community. And it's really rich people that are finding, like, they got a bunch of land and they're like, hey, let's leave a cool legacy. Very fascinating stuff. Got to go to a farm. And then if you keep on going, we'll wrap up. Megan tried frog legs, that was, and alligator pie, like shepherd's pie, but alligator pie. And then this is also a very impactful Rotary project. So the Rotary Club in Toledo, they do for new moms that are of need, they do this care package for their newborns. And so they knew we were coming, so they actually there was a mom that just had a baby, and so they let Megan give the gift. So that was pretty cool, an impact. And we ate ice cream. That Jello Boca, if you ever find that, it's like it's buffet. You just put whatever you want, you pay by the ounce. All their food is that way. I wish that was how America did it. You like pay by how much you eat, not by the plate. So like you can have a very light. Had a great meeting. They kind of sent us off. I got some messages they wrote about us. And again, our host family, great breakfast to send us off. That's a factory, prefab walls, apartment buildings, pretty neat. Very, very interesting. And then I'm hoping this loads. So this is Paulo's house. We went back to Fazui Gazu because that's where we were flying home to. Come on, let's see those ones. See if it keeps going. Keep on down. Let's just see if those. So that left picture is actually a puzzle. And so he prints stuff, remember? So I got into his house and I saw this picture. It's a puzzle of his family, his wife and his 2 kids. And I was like, hey, Paulo, could I buy one? Like, I don't like souvenirs. They're kind of, you put them in a closet at some point. So he actually made one. So, and then we went home. So he made one, he sent it home with us. And the very last picture should be right here. Just click on it. See if it'll load. So I sent him a picture. So he printed that for us and he made it into an acrylic puzzle. So it's like now a cardboard puzzle, it's acrylic, and then he printed the picture underneath it. It's like 4 feet, 3 by 2. So I was very grateful. That was our
that's a better souvenir for me than anything, so that was our host. So, it was amazing, I got some stuff, I got the flags, a couple things if you wanna chat about it, but most incredible experience.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy, and thank you, Nathan. Both great job. I'll give a hand for both of them. Any announcements real quick?
Gonna say really quickly, we're going home in early July, we're looking at being like a little get together after the river festival thing, so. We're,
So after River Fest fencing, if possible, get together for Ida's farewell. Awesome, thank you. Anybody else? Elise? Asking for 2 more. We are currently looking for 2 more host families. I forgot his name. Nevin, for Nevin. So if you have any ideas, please reach out to Lisa or anybody like Ashley, myself. This is a great opportunity, like we saw today, for different cultures to share each other's experiences. So if you have any ideas, just talk away. Anything else? Okay. Yeah, Central. Trivia answer is question 1. What country did the first Starbucks come out? I heard somebody say it. Japan. Yep, Japan. Question 2. Where were the Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and Bill of Rights stored during World War II? If you saw a bunch of movies before, you probably guessed Fort Knox. Question 3. First televised president ever was Franklin D. Roosevelt. So. If you had those answers, great job. You get to brag about it now. And I invite you to all stand, and thank you for coming together for such a fun evening. I hope you all had as much fun as I did. So of all the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Fulfill your will and that our friendships will be beneficial to all concerned, of course, will be followed. And thank you so much. See you next time.
They just started long meetings.
Yeah.
I think that's what Mexicans are doing, like out, like for a crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what we actually do with the banners.
Not sure either.
I mean, I brought them back from Jamaica one time when Laura was president. I don't know.
I know they go somewhere in the box.
Right, it's like another.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of they just go in the box there.
Oh.
It's like the distance.
Are we keeping-
I have to keep it.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
To check out one of those.
Thanks for sharing, Jeremy. That was really cool. Definitely. Good seeing you. Good seeing you too.
Congratulations, Dustin.
Thank you. You as well, Phil.
Thank you so much. Great to have you.
Congratulations on your wrapping up as well. A little more free time.
It was a great year. I had so much fun. You make it next week.
I won't make it next week.
I like, I was really good.
I wasn't sure I would be able to. It's not, yeah, we have, Heather's not vacation house, right? So it's just me and Dave. It's like-
Anyone have it?
We'll see you soon.
You get it? Take the bet. Good to see you. Yes. Nice job. Not bad. What was the, how'd you get the email for
Just through the
Brazil?
district. The district emails.
We'll have to keep reading them then.
Yeah.
End up somewhere someday. Where?
Where do you want me? Any place?
Well,
Is that all right?
yeah, pick that for your Powerball number next week.
Okay.
Oh, sweet.
Or you can leave it.
Be careful.
My tenants at the
So like I actually, I started probably around.
Maple media. So he and there, you can see it. And I don't know if you know that there's the trading.